Elizabeth Bush. I'm a writer, editor, and I formerly worked at a publishing company. At Ethereal Books, we talk about the ins and outs of writing, editing, and publication. Today, I'll be talking about how to deal with writer's block. In this video, I'll cover the definition, strategies to deal with it, including how I deal with writer's block, and asking the big questions, like, does it even exist? According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of writer's block is a psychological inhibition preventing a writer from proceeding with a piece. So, does writer's block exist? In the sense that sometimes writers feel uninspired and struggle to write? Absolutely, of course. But speaking of writer's block often comes with the connotations that one needs the muse in order to proceed. And without inspiration, they cannot go on. But that is simply not true. As unromantic as it sounds, creativity can be forced, and sometimes needs to be. Creativity is a muscle to be trained. The more you train the creative muscle, the easier it will be to use it and be energized by doing so, making it easier to produce the more you practice. You are not a being with a scarcity of ideas. You have an abundance of them. Don't be afraid to use them. The more you behave like you have an abundance of ideas, the more true it will become. Here are 10 strategies to help you deal with writer's block. 1. Walking. This one is a game changer for idea generation in general. In 2014, researchers from Stanford published a set of studies that showed that walking opens up the free flow of ideas, and it is a simple and robust solution to the goals of increasing creativity and physical activity. Basically, it's a win-win for your health and your writing. Link to the study in the description below. Some well-known writers that are famous for walking include C.S. Lewis, Virginia Woolf, Aristotle, Charles Dickens, Ernest Hemingway, Anais Nin, and more. Personally, I find the process of walking helps me untangle plot threads. Just the simple process of breathing in the fresh air, moving forward to the pace of my own internal rhythm, is an immeasurable help to me in generating new ideas and creative thoughts. In a sense, it's not a break from writing. Rather, it's a vital part of the process for uncovering the story. Showering, cleaning, and other monotonous activities can also have a similar effect to idea generation. Try it out! Now to the second tip. Don't write chronologically. Sure, sometimes you don't need to, but if you're stuck, it's possibly because you don't know what happens next, but you know what happens the part after next. So writing the scenes that you do know can kind of help you build that flow anyway, and once you've unpacked that, it's a lot easier to sometimes go back and realize, oh, that is how they connect. There's no real rules to the process of writing, so long as you write, and the end product is logical and entertaining. But the process is up to you. 3. If you haven't already, try and take a bird's eye view of your story. Sometimes you're stuck because you just don't know where your story is going, and sure, that's a great for pansters, but sometimes you actually do need to have a semblance of the plot. So just writing a small outline perhaps, and have a bird's eye view of the whole image really does help you see what needs to go and what is missing in that story. There are a lot of great books out there that can help guide you into writing compelling, interesting stories. I've left some of my favourites down as recommendations in the description below. 4. Carry around a notebook or other tool to record random ideas throughout the day. When you're living in a constant state of searching for ideas, it makes it a lot easier to find inspiration to write, especially when you go back and look through the ideas and you start seeing a pattern, and it helps you with the next scene or a whole new story idea if you haven't got one at all. When I'm out and have ideas, I use the Notes app on my phone, which automatically syncs to my computer, which is so helpful for me. When I was at university, I also used physical notebooks quite a lot, which was great for generating new ideas for new stories. This is just what works for me. There might be other ideas that work better for you. I encourage you to try some things out. I've heard that some people actually use voice recordings, which is pretty interesting. I've never tried that myself, but maybe that's something you could give a go too. 5. Write first thing in the morning, before anything else. And when I say before anything else, I mean before anything else. I've found that sometimes my most productive writing days was when I didn't even check the notifications on my phone. I literally would get out of bed, put on my kettle, and start writing. A good thing about this method is that you've just come out of that dream state, perhaps. Your brain is fresh, malleable, and in a creative state. This is also great because it starts the theme for your whole day. You began the day with that story being your priority, and it's quite possible that it helps it be in the back of your mind through the rest of the day because you started it that way. How you start the day is so underrated. Make sure you start it right. Gaining value from this video? Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and tick that bell for future notifications. 6. Get rid of all distractions. Cutting out distractions will go a long way to helping you focus on your story. Close all tabs that are not immediately relevant to your writing. I would say my phone is probably my worst distraction, and I suspect I'm not alone in that. So I put my phone in another room when I really need to focus. I also use an app blocker on my computer for any websites that I visit regularly. I use OneFocus's free version, but there might be others that are more suitable to you, so check them out. 7. Give yourself a self-imposed deadline and announce it to the world. If you're not motivated for yourself, you might be for others. This is a bit of an evil one, but it does work for some people if you're that kind of personality. 8. Create daily achievable goals. There is nothing like not achieving your daily goals to get you losing that momentum and feeling of fulfillment. And chances are you're more likely to avoid writing if you feel that you're not able to achieve those goals. So try and set goals that are measurable and achievable for each day, and that might make it easier to actually write. If you're feeling really stuck on the story because you just really want to get it right but you don't know how to proceed, this is something I use, where I open a different document, maybe a different platform altogether, and I Freewrite. I brainstorm parts of my story in a separate space that doesn't feel official. This can help me sometimes because writing in the official document can be a little bit intimidating, and so then if I feel like I'm letting loose in another space that isn't important, then I'm actually writing and I am discovering what's actually working and what's not, and then I can take what worked there and then use it in the actual main document. That's possibly just a psychological block, a little trick that you can try and do. If you're stuck because you can't find the right word or you don't feel like you have enough research in a certain area, just make a note and come back to it later and work on what you can. Getting stuck on details like wording or what kind of herb would grow in a particular environment at a particular time of year is something you don't have to necessarily figure out right away. Put it aside for later down in the process if it's going to keep you from writing at all. These things are just psychological, like you just don't feel ready for them at that particular moment in time, but you'll come back to it later and it will be a lot easier because you've reached a different point. Just work on what you can while you're in the right state. I also have some other tips in another video about motivating yourself to write when you don't want to. Check out in the description below. Let me know in the comments below what you think of writer's block. Currently I'm working on my nano project of 2021, and I wouldn't say I have writer's block, but I definitely feel like the next scenes are important and I am having anxiety about writing them because I don't want to get it wrong. So I've actually decided that today I'm going to try that free writing method in another spot and then go back to it. I know nano shouldn't be very important, but I'm a little crazy. Until next time, farewell, story weaver. See you next Monday.